Well, a very, very happy Friday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me. And, the other day when I came on, I had just gotten a couple of hours earlier the news that my good friend and former broadcast partner, Randy Jones, passed away. And we did a great tribute to Randy on Wednesday. And we'll talk more about Randy a little bit later on in the program today. But I want to say on behalf of the Jones family, uh, thank you for all the outpouring of love for the old left-hander, and we'll talk a little bit more about him later in the program today. Also, if you want to go back and listen to our tribute to him on Wednesday, you can certainly do that on YouTube. We've got a lot to cover today as we work our way towards Thanksgiving. Now, remember, next week we're going to be on Monday and Wednesday. We'll take next Friday off for a variety of reasons. Number one, I know a lot of people will be out and about, and I'm going to a little basketball, and we're going to talk about that right now. A little bit later on, we're also going to talk about SD Collectibles this weekend down at Liberty Station. Another huge card show, both on Friday and Saturday. But without any further ado, we're going to head out to our hotline. And our good buddy, Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego, joining us on this Friday morning. And Mark, great to have you. And I don't know, for a kid that grew up in San Diego, we're getting to a very fun time of year. I know it's only the third year of the Rady Children's Invitational, but it has really made the national headlines. Last year, Purdue won a heck of a ball game against Ole Miss, 80-78. And right now, I looked at the rankings this week. Purdue number one in the country. Head coach Matt Painter got the Boilermakers playing great. And this year, on Thursday, you've got the defending national champion Florida Gators coming to town. So I would imagine tickets are going very, very quickly for this 4 games over 2-day format on Thursday and on Friday. And welcome to the program.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, before we get rolling, you were talking about Randy at the top there, and Randy was an amazing guy. I mean, just a legend here in San Diego and beyond. And he was our honorary chair for the Holiday Bowl back in 2017. He was the grand marshal of the parade, and just an amazing man, a nice man, incredibly gracious man, and yeah, he's going to be missed for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for tacking that on. I remember when he was the grand marshal, I was trying to tell him, like when you're in the parade, how you're supposed to wave. He didn't exactly have the parade wave. I mean, he
That's
pretty
why he had his
exuberant guy.
granddaughters with him. They did that for him.
Yeah, well, he needed a little help at that point in time. That left arm wasn't getting as high as it once did from all those innings he pitched. But
Right.
Mark, I know you've got an incredible. I know your staff's not huge, but I know your volunteers are off the chart. And really, they're the ones that make this a little bit easier for you for the Rady Children's Invitational, but especially for the Holiday Bowl. And I want to give you an opportunity just to talk about the volunteers and what's expected of the volunteers.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing that up, Coach. So, you mentioned that they help make it easier for me. It's actually beyond that. I mean, they make all this stuff possible. We're a nonprofit. We've been around a long time, and especially now with Sports San Diego, we've expanded our scope of work. For decades, we were doing just the Holiday Bowl, right? And we do some one-off events here and there, and those volunteers, and a lot of them wear the red coats. They're affectionately known as the red coats all around the country. And in college football, everywhere, the red coats are recognized as the best in the business. We're recognized as the most hospitable bowl game in the country. When teams come here, the players get the time of their lives. The school administrators have the time of their lives. We do great for the fans as well. We have the best bowl destination in the country. The events that we plan, and it's all done by those red coats. I like to think of the staff as being the glue, and our staff, myself excluded, our staff is the best in the business, and it's truly a community event that is put on by San Diegans, and we do it for San Diego. And so, I'm a lot of people don't really understand. They understand what we do in terms of what we produce. And, when we bring events to San Diego, like NASCAR, the NASCAR San Diego weekend that's coming here, that was our group that brought that to San Diego. Manchester United, we had them a couple times, the New Zealand All Blacks, and a ton of other events that don't even make the headlines. Right now, as a matter of fact, we have 2,600 pickleballers out at the Barnes Tennis Center playing in the USA Pickleball National Championships. Didn't have the best weather for them this week, but they're persevering and doing a great job. But all this is possible because of those volunteers that you referenced. I've been with this organization now for 35 years, and I owe so much of what I have in my life to this organization and the people that have been a part of it and are a part of it. One thing I can say that to all of your viewers and listeners is that our organization is totally dedicated to our community. Everything we do, every decision we make, even if it doesn't seem like that it's to benefit San Diego, every decision we make is to benefit our community.
Okay, we're going to get into basketball. We're going to get into the Holiday Bowl as well. But with that being said, there was an article, and I want you to explain this article because I'm not sure that I totally understood it. And I know you were on KUSI talking about it, but there was a story that the Holiday Bowl was talking to people in Saudi Arabia. Explain that one.
Yeah, no, that is a true statement. And again, this is under the heading that anything that we do is to benefit the San Diego community. And I'll explain how this benefits it or would have benefited. We're not going to Saudi Arabia. But it was an opportunity that came about. We've been hit pretty hard, when we had the team back out of our of the Holiday Bowl just a few hours before kickoff.
UCLA.
Okay, you said it. And so, for 40 plus years, it took us that much time to create a financial reserves for us. So for when we had that rainy day, and thank goodness we had it. Thank goodness the founders of our organization had the foresight to really work to provide our organization with that reserve. And that one night in 2021, our reserves went away. We had to start at zero. And with all the changes in college football and things like that, it is hard. Again, we're doing this for San Diego, but we have to keep this organization sustainable. When we were doing the Holiday Bowl, we were driving about 20,000 plus room nights a year. What we're doing now with our expanded scope, in 2024, we did over 153,000 room nights. And that's important, because that helps support jobs. It puts people, visitors into our hotels and our restaurants and attractions, and creates tax revenues. And all that could be at risk. Without that financial reserve, all that could be at risk. And with the Holiday Bowl, it's not a secret. We lost money on it last year. We're in year 6 now of a 6-year deal. We have to do what we can to keep everything sustainable. This opportunity came about, and if we didn't explore it, then I think I'm not doing my job. I don't think we're doing our job as an organization to benefit the community, because what that would have done, number one, it would have been an incredible experience for the players and the schools, but it would have provided us with a financial guarantee that would have helped us, as we're navigating. Like we're not in the clear yet. We're doing a lot of work to make sure that our organization, Sports San Diego, and everything that we do and then the events continue indefinitely. And so we're making a lot of headway. But that truly, that opportunity that came about and the reasons we went forward with exploring it, 100% was to benefit San Diego, so that we can keep on doing what we're doing.
All right, let's get into the Rady Children's Invitational. And again, last year I went. Amazing basketball, big time basketball. I mean, you got matchups over the 2 days that are NCAA worthy. There's no question about that. The intensity, let alone the name coaches that were there last year. And you got a couple of big name coaches coming in again this year. And tell us about the event. And I know you're moving it from your alum, campus at UCSD. You've already outgrown Lion Tree Arena. Now you're over at Jenny Craig Pavilion. So tell us all about the four teams coming in and what the fans should expect, because I know they're very, very limited tickets for each day.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. So I love college basketball. We've talked about doing a college basketball tournament for decades, truly. And when we did the Navy Notre Dame football game back in 2018, huge success, right? It was kind of one-off that we were doing. We had a very good relationship, have a good relationship with the Naval Academy. And that success enabled us the opportunity. Our board had a great discussion saying we can do more. That kind of was the start of Sports San Diego. And so we started working on this basketball tournament, the Rady Children's Invitational, back in late 2018. Well, COVID got in the way of that, but it gave us the opportunity to really pin it down that we wanted this. We just didn't want to do a college basketball tournament. We wanted to do the best college basketball tournament. And amazingly, I mean, this is the third year of our tournament, and we are already recognized as one of the premier early season college basketball tournament. You have the one out in Las Vegas that San Diego State's participating, and go Aztecs. I hope they do well over there. This one, I would put our field up against any tournament out there. You look at the Maui Invitational, kind of the foremost, the premier early season college basketball tournament for a long time. That was what our target was. We wanted to be like the Maui Invitational, with a smaller field, with a 4-team field. And I think our teams that we have in the field this year with Florida and Providence and TCU and Wisconsin, you got 2 top 25 teams coming to San Diego. In fact, Wisconsin's flying in early. Shocker. They want to get out of Madison, but they're coming in on Sunday afternoon. We're getting the best fields possible. Next year is another. I mean, we're stepping it up a notch even more. And what makes our event, we're in a great destination, obviously, and UC San Diego was awesome having the tournament there. Now we're moving it over to, and Earl Edwards was a great host for us. And now we're moving over to Kimya Massey's Jenny Craig Pavilion and the University of San Diego, and they've been wonderful. So we have the destination. But what puts this event to the top of the list is our relationship with Rady Children's Hospital and Rady Children's Health as the beneficiary of the event, the sponsor of the event, and we also bring patients into the event. They serve as honorary captains for the 4 teams. They deliver the game ball. They're involved with all the festivities. And so it is an event, I would say, and again, I've been with this organization a long time. It could be the best event that we've ever produced. And very proud of it for San Diego. It fills a need period for tourism. Thanksgiving period is a slow time for San Diego tourism. We're filling rooms during that period. And it's great. Our staff is amazing with it. The volunteers we were talking about earlier. It is San Diego can be proud of this one. And I encourage, if your listeners and viewers don't have tickets yet, go to RadyChildren'sInvitational.com and get those tickets, because there are not that many left. That is true. And so, very, very proud of this event.
And I want to mention the schedule on Thursday, Thanksgiving at 12 o'clock, the number 10 team in the country and the defending national champion, Florida, coming in to take on TCU. 2:30 will be Wisconsin, Providence. And then on Friday, the third place game will get underway at high noon, and at 2:30, the championship game. And I want you
and
to
on
mention,
Fox, by the way, it'll be both games will be on FS1 on Thursday, and both games will be on Big Fox on Friday.
Okay, I want you to mention next year's field, because when I saw this come in my email box, I just had a big old smile on my face.
It is, me too. And I don't know that we could have gotten a better field for San Diego, because we got 2 Western teams who are in it. I think it's going to be off the charts. So the teams that are further away from us, we have Georgetown, which, I am, as you can tell, I'm older. And when I think of Georgetown, I think of Patrick Ewing and John Thompson and those incredible tournament runs. But we have Georgetown coming to town. We also the last team that we secured were the Texas Longhorns. They'll be coming here. And then we got St. Mary's, which I'm excited about. They're always in the tournament. They do out of the West Coast Conference, and they're a big time basketball program. They're going to be very excited to be playing Georgetown and Texas as well. And then right up the road, we got UCLA. So UCLA, Texas, Georgetown, and St. Mary's. That is nearly, if it's not a perfect field, it's pretty darn close.
Well, between now and then, are they going to expand the Jenny Craig Pavilion?
We might need it, right? But yeah, no, it's going to be electric. You were at the championship game yesterday or last year with Purdue and Ole Miss, and that building, that was one of the coolest atmospheres and greatest atmospheres I've ever been a part of for a sporting event. It was last year. It was amazing. I'm sure this year will be just the same.
What was really cool is after the game, a lot of the fans came onto the court, and Purdue took a bunch of pictures. They got their tournament trophy, and I talked to Matt Painter, their head coach. He didn't know me from a can of paint. And so I go up and introduce myself to him, and I thanked him for coming to San Diego. He goes, oh, he had a smile. He was happy they won. It was a great game against Chris Beard and Ole Miss Rebels. I went down to the wire, and he said, he looked at me and goes, you know what? Thanks for thanking me. He goes, we should thank you in San Diego because this was a well put on tournament. So, I don't know what he said to you, but he said it to a guy he didn't even know that was just kind of wandering around, excited about watching some good college basketball. But he seemed to be really, really appreciative of the opportunity to come out and bring his team out.
Each of the 8 teams that we've had so far in the first 2 years have raved about it. And I don't think this year will be any exception. There's no reason for that. And it is, last year, Purdue was the dominant team in terms of fan support in the building. It was pretty incredible in there. I think this year, if from looking at the ticket data, Wisconsin is there'll be more red in the building than probably the others. We'll see.
All right, let's move on to the 46th annual Holiday Bowl. And I got to go back and look at all the games because I've made a lot of these games over the years. And last year, Syracuse came in, they took care of business. It was a wild offensive affair. If you liked watching the football thrown last year, you went to that game, you came away pretty impressed with the quarterback and Syracuse at that point in time. Where are we at right now? A couple of things. Number one, this game's going to be played after the first of the year, January 2nd, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think for a lot of us that are conditioned, a day or two after Christmas to go down to the stadium, we're having to, recalculate what we're doing over the holidays. But January 2nd is, I think, a great day for this bowl game.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I was very excited that we got this game date for a few reasons. Number one, it gives us another week essentially to sell tickets. Number two, we are a nonprofit that is about driving tourism demand, using sports as a platform. And for fans, when we play the game on December 27th in particular, or even the 28th, as we have a lot lately, fans don't like traveling over the Christmas holiday. And so it does make it harder for them to plan that trip and even make the trip to San Diego. Going to January 2nd eliminates that issue. And so it's going to be an easy trip for them to come out here. And I anticipate our tourism numbers are going to be pretty great. The best year we ever had in terms of economic impact for the region was in 2018. And it was the latest our game had been played to that date. It was December 31st. We had Northwestern and Utah, and the average length of stay for the fan groups was like 2 nights, nearly 2 nights higher than a normal year. And that creates an impact for San Diego. And so January 2nd, and working with Fox and see how the schedule all worked out, going on January 2nd was great for us. It's great for San Diego. And it's also it gets away from the holidays, so for San Diegans to enjoy it as well, And again, this is an event that's put on by San Diegans for San Diego, and if you haven't been to a Holiday Bowl before, you're missing something because regardless of who's playing in the game, it's an event. And our group, those redcoats again, our volunteers and our staff do an incredible job to make it a very great, wonderful experience, a memorable experience for everybody.
And we're visiting with Mark Neville, the CEO of Sports San Diego. We talked about Rady Children's Invitational coming up on Thanksgiving and the day after out at USD. And, of course, the Holiday Bowl coming up this year, January 2nd at Snapdragon Stadium. Mark, let me ask you, the changing day by day of the landscape of collegiate athletics, the expanded college football playoffs, what is that doing for you and all the other people that put on bowl games that aren't a part of the bowl championship series?
I mean, we as bowl organizers, we have a lot of challenges, that we've been dealing with through the years, especially recently. And the playoff, it's an exciting time. I watch it. But what's one thing that does surprise me a little bit about where we are right now with the bowl games is that even with the playoff, it has impacted fan travel for sure, especially for those autonomous conference teams that want to get into the playoff. If they don't get in the playoff, it's disappointing. They all want to get in the playoff, and so some fans may turn off and not travel. So the fan travel is down a little bit. But I will say television viewership for these games last year was higher than it's ever been. So there still is a strong interest. I mean, people love football. People love college football. And so there still are a lot of great games that are being played that people are tuning into. So it's just a different, it's a different ecosystem now as it relates to putting on these games. And I think, the bowl system, and I'm friends with nearly every single bowl game director out there. And I think as an industry do pretty well in bobbing and weaving and making sure that all the communities that have these bowl games are still realizing an impact for staging these events. But yeah, there are challenges for sure, but they're still very important. I mean, tell the kids who are actually playing in the game that they don't mean anything. I think we are challenged. I was talking, I won't say which coach, but I was talking to a very high profile coach not long ago who told me, the biggest challenge for bowl games in his eyes are the agents of the players who are playing, because the agents are saying, don't play in the bowl game, don't play in the bowl game. Well, that's just wrong. This is another game for these teams. It's an important game. Sometimes, and it happens here a lot in San Diego, that for the Holiday Bowl, that the team that wins gets 10 wins. That's important for a program. And these teams are coming here to win a football game. And the communities that benefit from these games, that's important too. I mean, it is, the Holiday Bowl is, and for the foreseeable future is going to continue to be an important event for San Diego. And I mentioned as we started this, that what we do for the players when they get here, it's a once in a lifetime experience. I mean, when do they get to go on to an active Navy ship? A lot of these kids, like from Syracuse last year, I think it was only 6 of the kids on the team had ever seen the Pacific Ocean before. And so, and then the teams, go to our attractions here in town, and San Diego is the best bowl destination in the country, in my eyes. And these bowl games are still important. It bugs me when I listen to like national radio programs where they're just kind of, it's about the playoff and nothing else, and minimizing the impact of the bowl games. And unfortunately, all of us are prone to propaganda. When we hear people say something, we will believe it. And the Holiday Bowl is an incredibly important asset for San Diego, and it's an incredibly important asset for college football, and it has been since 1978.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this. Here's my take on bowl games that aren't part of the playoff. Okay, not so much before the game, but I've had the ability as a media guy to go down to the locker room, go down to the press room after a big bowl victory. I remember when Nebraska was here a number of years ago and they won a bowl game. Hey, don't tell those kids that bowl game didn't matter, because if you went down there and you saw the exuberance of winning a football game. I wouldn't remember years ago when Ndamukong Suh played here.
Mhm.
And, he was the big college player of the year defensively and all world and all that. Went on and had an amazing NFL career. But go down to the locker rooms after the game and see how much that bowl game does mean, even if it wasn't one for the national title or to go here or go there. It's very, very important. And a lot of teams have come in here, and it's been kind of the slow build. They win a bowl game here, and it sends them into the next year. And I always like to look at the rankings the next year. And more times than not, teams that have won the Holiday Bowl here, unless they were senior laden, they normally perform pretty well the following year. So that's kind of my take on that. Now, my other question to you
Well,
is,
real
I
quickly,
know that
like
we don't have a. Oh, go
real
ahead.
quickly, Coach. Like one, I was just talking about this guy yesterday. Tell Miller Moss, who came in to replace Caleb Williams at USC a
Good
couple of
point.
years ago. The Holiday Bowl, really, he was in the shadows until the Holiday Bowl, and he had an incredible game against Louisville, who he now plays for, which I think is kind of funny. So that probably helped him get
Yeah.
the starting job over at Louisville too.
Okay. No title sponsor I've seen right now, and I know that could change. Before the end of the day. But what does a title sponsor get if they're the title sponsor for the Holiday Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we pitch it and we mean it, they basically take on the brand of the Holiday Bowl. So if you become the XYZ Holiday Bowl, XYZ is going to be anywhere the Holiday Bowl is. So it really depends on who the sponsors. We've had local sponsors with the game. We've had national sponsors with the game. And so everyone is different. We were fortunate to have our good friends at San Diego County Credit Union and SDCCU to be the title sponsor of the Poinsettia Bowl for every year of its life, and the Holiday Bowl. And it was much more of a local play. They wanted to help the San Diego community. They liked what we did in terms of the economic impact for the community, and they wanted to be a part of it. And so that was more driven locally. They still got a lot of national benefit, but it was a more of a local play. We had DirecTV the last couple of years. That was very much a national play, and so we kind of alter how we work with each sponsor depending on what their objectives are. And every sponsor that we've had has different objectives, and we do a really good job. I truly, I'd put our team up against anybody in terms of exceeding expectations when a partner comes on board with us. There's more to it than just what you see with a logo at midfield. There's a lot that goes behind it. Lots of cooperation, lots of dialogue. And I tell them all the time, they become part of our family, and we do everything we can. I think we're second to none in terms of how we take care of our entitlement partners. And we will get one soon. There is a lot of interest in the property, and we're probably working or talking with 10 different companies right now, and we're going to keep talking with more until we get one that executes the contract. But I'm confident we will get a title sponsor before we get to kickoff. When we're going to announce it, I don't know. But we're going to be announcing the teams, though, on December 7th, which isn't too far away.
Okay, a couple of other things. Number one, what's the payout for each team this year?
So the listed payout right now, it's a sliding scale, but the listed team payout is $5.9 million combined.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I lie awake at night thinking about how that's a lot of money.
Okay, now where are we at? Kind of tell us the teams that, and I know that can change tomorrow afternoon. I know that could change in 2 weeks. I know it definitely will change before the announcement. But where are we at right now with the ACC, the Pac-12, and that's current teams in the Pac-12 and former teams in the Pac-12 that are eligible. Where are we at right now looking at matchups?
Your guess is as good as mine, but here's what I can tell you. In the Pac-12 side, it's going to be one of 5 teams. We got it. We have it down to 5.
I'm glad we narrowed it down to 5.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm not including Oregon and USC. I don't think they're going to be available to us. And so the ones that the 5 that we're looking at for our game, Arizona State, like them both. Utah. I like Utah a lot too, especially with Kyle Whittingham, is this going to be his last game he ever coaches? Is that possible? And he's in our Hall of Fame. He played in the first 4 Holiday Bowls. Washington is another one, and then Cal as well. So it's those 5 that are still there that can happen. On the other side, there's just a couple teams that aren't eligible anymore. They're not going to make it to a bowl game. There's probably 10 plus teams that are still in the running for coming to the Holiday Bowl. So, we'll see. I think SMU could be a team that would work out really well. And I say that, and I could say, well, it could even be Clemson. It could be Virginia. It's just there's so much Miami. There's so many things that could happen between now and December 7th.
I'm pulling. Maybe Bill Belichick will win 2 more games at North Carolina, and they would be eligible.
That would be something, right? So we're in good shape, though. Like on the Pac-12 side, I think we're in really good shape. I'll take any of those 5 teams that I mentioned. We've had each of them, and each of them have done really well for us here in San Diego and have brought a lot of fans with them. And then on the ACC side, again, we're in pretty good shape. We're going to get a good team. It's very possible we get a matchup of 2 top 25 teams. And
that would be fantastic. That would really be fantastic.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We might not have any top 25 teams. But again, it's interesting in that when we're selling the game, and we do have some really fun things that are we've never done before with the Holiday Bowl that we're going to be announcing. I think we're going to be announcing it on the day that we're announcing the teams also. But regardless of who's playing in the game, it's a special event. The pageantry is second to none, and the atmosphere is great, and it's an important event for our town. And so for those tickets, people can go to holidaybowl.com. And January 2nd, the holidays ain't over till we say it's over. And
the other thing that I would say, and again, I'm in media and I'm exposed to a lot of things that the fans aren't exposed to. But even in the pregame, the PR guys, they've got intensity. I mean, these bowl games to these football programs, I don't care what the general college football fan thinks. To these programs, when they show up at these bowl games, it's pretty much all business, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. You think about when they're here, they're here to win a game, right? They want to have a great experience, and they want the players to enjoy the trip. We really want them to enjoy the trip. But at the end of the day, they're here to play a football game and to win a football game. And so, they're practicing every day that they're here, and they're having a little bit of fun. We generally will do one event for the teams each day that they're here. And so they're going to enjoy it. Of course, the trip is much better if they win the bowl game. And so, you're right. It is a business trip. It's so funny with all the teams that I've worked with through the years, they all have their own feel.
Right.
Some of them are much more intense and serious and this, and some of them are like, some of the coaches in particular, they'll go out and shake everyone's hand and thank our red coats. And some of them are more, they're probably in their hotel rooms just scheming, so, it is interesting. I always get a sense like, okay, I know who's going to win this game. They're taking it a lot more seriously, but
right.
I'm right less than half the time.
Well, hey, Mark, Continued success. I'll see you at the basketball invitational next week, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And very excited about the January 2nd Holiday Bowl as well. I know I've got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, yes, you do. Yes, you do. So, yeah, thanks, Coach. You're the best. Look forward to seeing you next week. And in the meantime, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Mark Neville, the CEO of Sports San Diego. I got to get that commercial out. This is our bowl game, folks. And this basketball 2-day get together, fantastic basketball. Absolutely fantastic basketball. So hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I want to get you some Padre news, but I do want to mention my buddy Randy Jones. When I came on the air Wednesday, I talked and, I went back yesterday and I listened to the program. And I want to make sure I said a lot of the things that I wanted to say. I was in a little bit of a daze. I knew on Tuesday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, things were not trending in the right direction for number 35. And before I went to bed on Tuesday night, I had gotten a couple of text messages saying that Randy had passed, and I couldn't get in touch with anybody to confirm that. And then I woke up and got a text early in the morning. And then the Padres put out their press release later in the morning. It was early, and it just well, only thing I can tell you is Randy fought an incredible battle. And he did not pass away from the throat cancer. He had other ailments, and he had gone through several surgeries over the last year for a variety of different things. And his body was just beat up. And, everything that's being said about Randy is so true, how gracious he was. Um, just always a wise guy. I mean, when you're around Randy Jones, if you're not having a good day, then you probably need to look yourself in the mirror and have a talk with yourself. Randy Jones was always fun. And when he would show up at batting practice, I'd get there normally about 4 o'clock, and sometimes we pulled in about the same time. But if Randy wasn't down on the field, everybody'd say, "Hey, where's Randy? Where's Randy?" And they'd say the same thing if I wasn't there. "Hey, where's Coach at?" Because Randy and I, for a number of years, were pretty much inseparable. I mean, he would go do what he had to do in the pregame. I'd do what I had to do in the pregame, and then we'd meet in the press box. And then we'd walk to our wherever we were going to do our post game. Just an amazing man. And yesterday, I was KUSI and Fox 5 were nice enough to invite me on to share my memories. And I wore a jersey. And I don't think I talked about this on Wednesday. Back in 2012, the Padres were not having a good year. After that 2010 year, it really was slim pickings up until 2020. But in 2012, we were on the postgame show one night. And Randy goes to me, he goes, "Man, you're really upset about the Padres." I go, "Yeah," and blah, 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 blah. And somehow or another, we came up with this bet. And the bet was if the Padres won 5 games in a row, that Randy would set up that I would get to throw out the first pitch at a ball game. So the Padres miraculously, within the next couple weeks, go on this run. They end up winning 6 games. So one night we're getting ready, we're in studio, and Randy walks in with this brown paper bag. And he goes, "Here, I got something for you." And with Randy, when he would say he's got something for you, you had to be careful when you open a bag or a box. I mean, it might be, some kind of funny little gyration that might pop out at you. 'Cause he was always playing pranks on people. So, anyways, I open the bag, and there's this beautiful Padre jersey, and I pull it out and I hold it up. First thing I look at is see if I can wear it because I'm a big guy. And then I turn it around and it says Jones 35. And I go, "Boy, Randy, thanks a lot." He goes, "Well, you got to look good when you throw out the first pitch next week." So yesterday, when I was on KUSI and Fox 5, and I thank them for having me on yesterday, I wore my Randy Jones jersey that Randy gave me back in 2012, and I'll cherish that the rest of my life. Randy, I can't, I could go on and on. I was telling my wife yesterday, I did the Padre pre and post game show for a total of 13 years. And my post game partners, get this, Tim Flannery, who, by the way, I saw yesterday at Grandparents' Day at Paul Leckie Elementary. He's got grandkids there, and I've got grandkids there. So I talked with Flan a little bit. And Randy was kind of Flan's mentor when he broke into the big leagues. And believe it or not, they both went to the same college, Chapman University, up there in Orange County. So I talked to Flan yesterday. He was my partner in 2004. Bob Scanlon did the road games in 2004 and then worked with me in 2005 and 2006 before he went to television. I worked with Ernie Martinez, then I worked with Randy Jones. I mean, I worked with four unbelievable guys. I mean, great people. And I'm so blessed. I mean, late at night, man, you never know what you're going to get. But man, working with those four guys, unbelievable. And Randy and I, we had the longest tenure of the group, and we had more fun than you could ever imagine. And a lot of our fun wasn't even on the air; it was just walking around talking baseball. So I wanted to mention that. The other day I was hearing people talk about Luis Arise, and we're going to get out to your questions in a minute. Luis Arise, a three-time All-Star, two-time Silver Slugger, three-time batting champion. He won the first title back in 2022. He hit 316 for Minnesota. All that got him was a trade to Miami where he hit 354 in 2023. 2024 between the Padres and Miami, he hit 314. This last year, his age 28 season, he hit 292. He's a player that, for me, it's hard to gauge. Number one, I like Luis Ariz. I think he's a high character guy. I think he shows up to the ballpark every day with a smile on his face and wants to get the job done. But again, how much do you pay a first baseman at a power position for a non-power player? And I was looking at his OPS. And I'm a big OPS plus guy more than just OPS, but his OPS was 719 this last year, career at 777, so it was down. In OPS plus, the 100 is average for major league players. This year, Luis Arraez's OPS plus was 99. So a little under being an average major league player. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's made himself a very adequate defender at first base, former second baseman moving to first. I think he worked hard. I thought he really got better. Maybe the metrics aren't being kind to him on how much he's improved, but 99 OPS plus. And again, career OPS is 777, and his career OPS plus is 115. My question to you, how much can you afford Luis Arraez with the pending sale of the San Diego Padres? How much money are the Padres going to have out there? Now, we saw the other day that Dylan Cease and Michael King both declined their qualifying offers. So how much money is going to be out there? You need a first baseman, and you need some pitching. You've got to spend the bulk of your money on pitching. Now, if you didn't bring Luis Arraez back, you could tell Gavin Sheets, hey, take ground balls every day during the offseason. You're going to be our opening day first baseman. Maybe the Padres don't feel comfortable with him being there at first base. I don't know what's going on with the Padres. We still don't have a contract extension for A.J. Preller. I don't understand how difficult this is. I mean, you walk in, the guy's worked for you for over a decade now. You know what he's making. You give him a little bump and a pat on the back and a thank you for getting your ball club into the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years. This should not be that difficult. It's not like AJ is pounding his fist on the desk at John Seidler and saying, hey, give me a contract. And it's not like he has an agent. He doesn't have an agent. He's dealing with himself. Maybe they're just trying to frustrate him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but my question, how much would you be willing to pay Luis Arraez to come back and play first base? You're going to give him a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal? Last year he made $14 million. I heard people say, well, you're not going to pay him more than about 6 or 7 or 8 million. There may be somebody out there that'll pay him more, then, let him go, and he'd probably go somewhere else. But I said even before the season was over, he's a tough one. I don't really know how much you need to pay him. Or you should pay him. I'd throw that out to you a little bit. And again, Padres have to figure out what they're going to do. I don't know if you saw this the other day, and I had this all ready for Wednesday's show, but 13 players were offered qualifying offers. 9 players turned them down. The four players that took him: Trent Grisham of the Yankees, a little over $22 million he'll make, and that may cost them the opportunity to bring back Cody Bellinger. And there have been talk that maybe the Dodgers would try to bring Bellinger back. Bellinger's a hell of a player for me. I've always liked him, and I think he's become a much better hitter, shortening that swing, and he can still play all three outfield positions and first base. But Trent Grisham took the qualifying offer from the Yankees. Gleyber Torres took it from Detroit. Brandon Woodruff, who we talked about the other day, possibly being a guy the Padres would go after, he took it in Milwaukee. And Shota Imanaga took it with the Cubs, and that may cost them an opportunity to go after a big free agent pitcher. They thought Imanaga was probably not going to take it, but he did. The ones that turned it down were Dylan Cease, Michael King, Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, Kyle Tucker, Framber Valdez, Bo Bichette, Edwin Diaz, and Zach Gallen. All those players now still eligible, though, to re-sign with their former ball clubs, but only four took the qualifying offer, and that's actually pretty high. Normally, players will turn that down. Okay, let's get out and get some live questions on Coach's Crew. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Mark Neville, CEO of Sports San Diego. Okay, let's get them out and rolling today. How are we doing today, Casey? What are your thoughts on the Angels trade of Taylor Ward for pitcher Grayson Rodriguez? I think it was good for both teams. It was 1-for-1. Taylor Ward, a power hitting outfielder, doesn't hit for much of an average, but had a great year last year, drove in over 100 runs on a bad ball club. I think it worked out very well for him. I think it worked out well for the Orioles, and I think it's going to work out well for Grayson Rodriguez and the Angels. I'm kind of excited. I was actually on Roger Lodge's show last week when they hired Craig Stammen. And I was talking a little bit about the Angels. I like the Angel Ball Club. I like the hiring of Kirk Suzuki. I think Suzuki, he only got a 1-year deal, which is a little bit odd, but I think he'll do a pretty good job up there. I like Kirk Suzuki. I liked him as a player, and I've heard him interviewed many times. I don't know him, but I like him, and I like the way he goes about it. He caught 16 years in the big leagues, and he played for one of the great guys in the history of college baseball, in George Horton up there at Cal State Fuller. He knows the game inside and out. I think it was a good hire. Some people may say an out-of-the-box hire. I disagree with that. I think Kurt Suzuki will walk in there without any managerial experience, and he's going to have growing pains. Every manager, Craig Stammen, Tony Vitello, all these guys. Even if you're a veteran manager, you're going to have growing pains when you're going to a different organization. I like Kurt Suzuki. I think he'll do a good job, and hopefully they're able to get him a few ball players during free agency. Casey, thank you very much. A good question. Okay, let's keep these questions going here. What do we got today? Sam Sanford, hey coach, Padres sure do seem stuck this offseason. It came down yesterday from Bleacher Report, and supposedly a Tatis Jr. trade to the Mets is gaining traction. Your thoughts? Nothing would surprise me. I think at some point in time, because of the contracts they've got for Machado, Bogarts that are going to be unmovable. You got Cronenworth through 2030 making $12 million, not a lot of money by current day standards. But when you got these other guys locked up long term, Fernando's the only contract that can be moved. And I think by the time he starts making big money in 2029, he's going to be making $36 million a year towards the end of his contract. And when he signed it, I still think it was a great deal. I still think it was a great deal for the Padres and for Fernando, a young player that hadn't played, 2 full years in the big leagues and had already started to show warts as far as injuries. Got a good deal. I thought it was a very almost team-friendly deal. But with these other long-term deals, when they re-upped Machado a couple of years ago, when he had the opportunity to opt out, I think that may have signaled the end of Fernando in San Diego. I do think that he will have to go somewhere else at some point in time. We'll see who ends up, if they end up selling the team. We'll see who. If you got somebody with deep pockets, then maybe he stays. But as of right now, I think he could be a guy that goes. Now, remember, up until 2029, he's got a full no-trade contract. You'd have to talk him into it, and you'd have to pay him a little bit more to get rid of him in a trade. But then as the years go by, it'll be limited to 13 teams. I think that's in 2029 to where there'd be 13 teams. He wouldn't be traded to because he could nix it. But I do think Fernando will go bye-bye at some point in time, unless you get somebody in here with deep pockets. And quite frankly, Fernando offensively, and I talked about this a week ago. You look at his first 3 years, some of the best in baseball. Last 3 years, a little bit better than the average Bear. His numbers are no. If I gave you a baseball card and said, "Hey, look at his first 3 years," okay, and you didn't turn it over to see his charming face, and you looked and go, "Wow, this guy's really good." And then when I gave you another baseball card that only had the last 3 years, you'd say, "Oh, this guy's okay." I mean, there's a big difference between 1 through 3 and 4 through 6. Big difference. So nothing would surprise me. But if you're going to trade him, you better get something good in return. That's all I can say. Okay, what else we got here on our questions today? We got Matt. Hey, coach, I've noticed the Japanese players at the high school level seem to have much better fundamentals. U.S. seems better at more advanced parts of the game, but the Japanese know how to play well. Well, here's the deal. And you're talking to a guy that breathes fundamentals. It's all about fundamentals. It's about muscle memory, Matt. And if you can get a young guy, I don't care, it could be a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, they're not going to be able to execute on a regular basis like hitting. They're physically not going to be able to execute the swing a high percentage of the time. But if you keep working and working and working and don't get frustrated, stay with it. As they get older, bigger, stronger, that muscle memory is going to take over, and all those struggles as a youngster are going to start paying off. But I mean, just little things. I mean, even with the Dodgers, watch the Dodgers. And I haven't seen the Padres do. I see the Padres take a lot of ground balls, but the Dodgers have kind of those old Ron Washington type drills where they get down on their knees and they're just working on their hands, working on their backhand, and they're not out there running around. They take a ton of ground balls as well. But just fundamentals, funnel that ball in, get that glove out in front of you, keep your head back behind there so you're seeing it with your vision. The Japanese, they train, and I've said to people, I would love to go to Japan and go watch one of their big league teams like go through spring training. I mean, it's very regimented, very self-disciplined, and they expect high out of you. If you go to Japan, and you can be a big money guy from the United States, if you go to Japan and you're not performing at the level they think you should perform, they send you to the minor leagues. And I mean, you're banished to the minor leagues until you get your game back to where it needs to be. There's a high accountability in Japan. But I agree with you. And I would also say this. I would say this about the Dominican Republic, and I would say it about Venezuela. I think they train, and they train on some bad fields, man. If you can field on those fields in Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, you can field on anything. But the Japanese, the way they go about their training, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm in awe of it. I really am. But again, everybody now in the United States, it's all about hit in the cage and launch angle. How about some good, solid fundamentals? Good, solid fundamentals. That's what I would like. You know, going back to Yamamoto. Yamamoto's not a big guy. What, 5'10", 165 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood? Amazing. And all that guy does is walk around. I was amazed in game 7 of the World Series. They were showing him out on the warning track. And, you know, he just pitched. And he was out on the warning track like 4 hours before the first pitch that night, working on his delivery without a baseball, just doing shadow drills. Work, making sure you're loading your backside, getting over your front leg, little things like that. They make a difference. They really do. Matt, thanks for bringing that up. Enjoyed talking about that. All right, Ramon Scott, big time guy out there in the East County. I'm sure he's going to a big football game tonight. Once they start giving a payout to play in bowl games, the student athletes will play in those bowl games. Yeah, when they start playing the players, if you come to that's a good point, by the way, Ramon. You come to the Holiday Bowl, everybody gets $1,000 check when you walk in the door. Or you know what? Better yet, give them the $1,000 check when they walk out the door. That would be better. Everybody on the roster gets $1,000, and if you're an All-American, you get 2,500. Yeah, we'll set the pay scale right here on the John Kentera Show. That's a very good point. Very good point. But you know what? the big time playoff, Alabama, their players, if they're in the playoffs, or Ole Miss, if they're in the college football playoffs, they're not going to miss that opportunity. I've talked to people in the NFL, scouts and front office people. They go, your football career is relatively short compared to a lot of other sports. And for guys to sit out, and they said, we understand the high first round pick guys, but the middle of the road guys, the third, fourth, fifth round guys, they pull out. They don't want to play. They just want to take time off. And the old saying, oh, they're going to get ready for the NFL Combine. You know what? You don't play at the NFL Combine. This is an opportunity to go out and showcase your skills. Football scouts and organizations, they want to see you play football. They know what you can do in shorts. They know what you can do in the weight room. They know you can run a good 40, but they want to see you out compete. And a lot of guys that are like third, fourth, fifth round guys that pull out, scouts have a little question about them, about their agents telling them how to live their life, and how much does this guy really want to play? So, I mean, some guys, I understand if you're a high round draft pick and you're not in the college football playoff and you're just going to the Sun Bowl, or, the Poland Weed Eater Bowl, if they still have that. I understand that a little bit better. But if you're a mid to late round draft pick, you need to play. You need to try to up your performance. Show what you can do on special teams. Special teams are so underrated. And that's the third phase of football. I mean, you got to have good special teams. I tell young men all the time, man, that are offensive linemen or defensive linemen that love football, but you can see they're not going to be able to play at the next level. Learn how to long snap. Learn how to long snap and run down the field and make a tackle. You're not going to make it as a left guard or a left tackle or a defensive end, but you want to be a part of football. Learn how to long snap. There are a lot of good long snappers. And you know what? I think you work at it, you can get better, you can get an opportunity, whether you're in high school, junior college, get a scholarship as a long snapper if you like playing football, and maybe the other measurements don't add up. Ramon, very, very good point. And stay dry tonight out there in the East County, my friend. Appreciate that. All right, I want to congratulate the USD women's volleyball team. I'm a big Jen Petrie fan. Uh, she's a marvelous lady. They won again last night. They swept Pepperdine. They win the West Coast Conference title, and they're now on the year 22-4, 15-0 in the West Coast Conference. They close out the regular season at Santa Clara tomorrow, but congratulations to the Lady Toreros on just another tremendous volleyball season. Jen Petrie, fantastic lady, and hopefully they can keep it going, get back to the Final Four of women's college volleyball. Okay, we got any coach's mailbag? I know most of them would have probably been from Randy the other day. We got any coach's mailbag today? I think we do. Austin Prather, great tribute show to Randy, coach. I met him on several occasions. I miss him already. Hang in there. He came over and talked to me one year at spring training. He was a great man. Hang in there. Thank you very much. Oh man, I emceed a bunch of Randy's golf tournaments. I remember going out one morning. I think it was Mariners Point. I went out there and emceed an event he had for Home for Guiding Hands. He was very, very involved in that. So, and people were sending me messages, hey, sorry for your loss, sorry for your loss. I appreciate that a great deal. But you know what? It was a sorry for you as well. It was a sorry loss for all of San Diegans. No question about that. We got any more coaches mailbag? Okay, Paul, one thing I always was listening to you and Randy at night on the radio. I'm a huge Dodgers fan, but I always had to listen to your show. Randy was such a great guy. Absolutely. And you know what? People liked us because we talk baseball. We don't talk nonsense. We don't have filler radio. It was all about baseball. Whether it was the Padres or the Angels or Dodgers, I like talking about the Angels with Randy because Randy was from Fullerton, went to Brea Linda High School, and went to Chapman College right down the street from Anaheim Stadium. We, we had more fun. Oh man, we had so much fun. Unbelievable. Paul, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. What else? We got one more. We got one more. Okay. Now here's the deal. I know it's raining. And I know you can't be outdoors a whole lot. It's going to be cold and windy this weekend, more than likely. But again, if you're into collectibles, or maybe you've thought about getting into collectibles, this show, and they have them at the Handlery and they have them at Liberty Station. And they've got them at some other smaller venues. But this weekend, folks, Liberty Station, what better place to go? Getting ready for Thanksgiving down to Liberty Station, one of the great places in all of San Diego. They've got a 2-day card show at Liberty Station, once again put on by our buddies at SD Collectibles, and a man that'll be right in the middle of it all, my man, Jonathan Oliveri. And Jonathan, kicking off tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, the big collectibles show. And boy, these 2 days, one, this is like a kid going to a double header. I mean, you can go there on Saturday, check it out, maybe go home and figure out, count your money. Well, I can go get this tomorrow, I can get that. But I would warn people, when you go and you see something, you better buy it, because if you come back the next day, it may already be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice having the 2-day, because you can kind of, like you're saying, have a game plan, go in there day one, know who you're looking for, check out the different vendors, because there's a lot, and there's over 100 tables at this one. So yeah, check things out. But I would buy it that first day. You come back that second day, it could be gone. A lot of people come through at Liberty Station and the Handlery as well. But the Liberty Station, the 2-day show, it's going to be big. A lot of vendors. If you're into sports, Pokemon, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, it's going to be there. It's all there.
Jonathan, real quick, tell all the particulars as far as the cost to get in, the parking. Nowadays, everybody's always concerned in San Diego about parking. Kind of take us through the roadmap for this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up the address right now, so I'll make sure I tell it correctly. It's 2600 Lanning Road in Liberty Station. It's a Liberty Station Conference Center. So parking's free. There are a few 60 to 90-minute zones in the area around there, so just be aware of that. But all the parking there is free, and it's $5 per day entry fee, and that gets you in to the whole show. You can, all the vendor tables, all of that, and it's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days, Saturday and Sunday. So you can get there early. You can check out everything, or you can wait, sleep in, do whatever you got to do on the day, and come a little bit later in the afternoon. But yeah, 10 to 5 both days.
And how many tables are we looking at right now? How many vendors?
There's about 120 tables. This one's a big one. It's one huge room. At Handlery, it's very similar in size as far as the amount of vendors there. But this one's nice because it's just one giant room. You walk in and it's all right there in front of you. But yeah, a lot of different vendors there.
Okay, let me throw out some questions here. Number one, we got all kinds of cards. We got magazines. We got pictures that are framed, autographed. We got baseballs. I mean, if you are a collector, or you're someone that is kind of thought, well, I'd like to start, getting Pokemon cards, or I want to go be a guy that gobbles up all the Tony Gwynn cards that I saw a ton of, and pictures, posters. If there's one favorite player, I mean, these are the places to go, because you got a chance to probably add to your collection.
Yeah. I mean, at this show, if you can't find what you're looking for, I don't know what you're looking for. It must be something really rare and scarce, but there's everything here, whether you're anything from Padres to Yankees and everything in between. And same for all sports. Basketball, everybody likes the new guys, Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, and the NFL, everybody likes the hot quarterbacks right now. So yeah, there's something. If there's a player you collect or a Pokemon card you collect, odds are it's going to be there this weekend. But yeah,
I know SD Collectibles, you guys put on a lot of shows throughout the course of the year. Do you have anything in December? And the reason I ask that is because this could be one of the last opportunities for fans to maybe buy a Christmas gift for one of their loved ones that's really into a certain player or certain team, or, whatever.
Yeah, so we have one more. It's December 6th, but that's a 1-day at Handlery. So that one is a little bit of not a little bit, it is a smaller show than these 2-day ones, and those sell out really quick. So there's about 30 vendors at that one. Just about. It depends on if they buy 1 or 2 tables. how it gets divvied up. But as far as if you're wanting Christmas presents or you're wanting to get something for somebody, this is your best chance here. The 2-day show with this many tables, the deals are going to be great. There's going to be a lot of vendors there because some of these vendors, not everybody who's at this weekend's show are going to be able to get a table for that December 6th show. That December 6th show, not being a 2-day show, it's smaller, less tables. So not all these vendors are going to be able to be there. So with this wide of a selection, this is going to be it until Christmas. There still is that December 6th show. That's at the Handlery Hotel. But with this much selection, if you're wanting to find something, it's going to be there this weekend.
Okay, Saturday, Sunday at Liberty Station, 10 to 5 both days time-wise, right?
Yes. Yep, 10 to 5 both days. Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing, I got to let you promote what you do. And I'm not going to say LA. I'm going to say Chargers, okay? You've got a bunch of Charger memorabilia. I don't know if you even have any memorabilia from the LA Chargers. If it was, I hope it was in 1960, okay?
Yeah.
When their first year before they moved to San Diego. But
exactly.
What do you got this weekend that people may be interested in?
Yeah, so I have, the main thing is I got some Randy Jones stuff, some autographed. Randy Jones is a real nice guy, so I always have Randy Jones items there. That he's always a hot commodity. He's one of the top names of Padre players that people like. But yeah, my website, SD Sportsman, you'll see me. I'll have one of these banners behind me at the show, and I'll have everything from cards to signed magazines, photos, mini helmets, bats, baseballs, footballs, everything. And all San Diego stuff. Yeah, the only LA Charger stuff I have is I have some, I do have a couple tickets from their first season in LA when they're playing at the Coliseum. So that's like the only LA Charger stuff I like. Once they moved, I'm a San Diego born and raised, so I love my San Diego teams. But yeah, I'll have everything there. I'll have Padres, I'll have San Diego Chargers, and then I have a little bit of things outside of that realm too. But with my website, that's what I focus on: San Diego sports history. So all the different teams that have played here, back from like Coryell being on the Aztecs, to even the San Diego Fleet, old San Diego Chargers, the Eric Coryell days, all that fun stuff. So if you love San Diego sports, check out my website, sdsportsman.com. That's where everything's on there. It's like an online museum of all different unique San Diego sports items.
I had to laugh. You mentioned the San Diego Fleet. They had a ham sandwich while they were here in San Diego.
I know. I had season tickets. That was fun, but yeah.
It was fun, but they didn't last. Neither did the league very long, but it was fun while it lasted. And you know what? If I would have played on the San Diego Fleet, I'd probably still be wearing my T-shirt around saying I played for the Fleet.
Yeah, right. I know. I still have some of my Fleet gear that I would wear to the stadium and stuff. Yeah. Fun times.
That's great. Well, Jonathan, good luck this weekend, and thanks again, as always, for the time.
Yep. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. And again, for more information, go to sdcollectibles.com, a big 2-day show out at Liberty Station. I'm a big card collector, so I always enjoy having Jonathan on and finding out what's available. And I've been to his show. It's absolutely off the chart. My grandson continues to bug me. Hey, when are we going to go? When are we going to go? Well, when you're not playing baseball every Saturday afternoon, we're going. But anyways, great show today. Mark Neville, CEO of San Diego, Sports San Diego. Appreciate him coming on, talking about Radio Children's Invitational, the basketball get-together on Thanksgiving and on next Friday. And, of course, talking about the Holiday Bowl. Again, please like our program. Please subscribe. And please share it. Please share it with your neighbor. Tell, hey, Coach is on 3 days a week. Now, next week, we're only going to be on 2 days a week. We're going to be on Monday and Wednesday, and we'll take Friday off. But I'll have a bunch of ammunition for you Monday morning. So, again, thank you very much for tuning in. This is the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Have a great weekend, everyone. And thanks again for listening to the John Kentera Show. Bye-bye.